Let's get started. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join in a moment of silence for self-reflection. Thank you. We'll go to 1.3. Dr. Hall, are there any adjustments?
No adjustments tonight, Mr. Thompson.
Okay. 1.4 on the core purpose, success for all students. Our core goal is 90% of students pass language arts and English and mathematics on state assessments. The core values, character. We will continue to be an institution guided by ethical strength. Students, we will continue to put students first in our priorities and our decision-making. Service, we will continue to be an organization known for its servant spirit. And stewardship, we will continue to embody the qualities of stewardship. Moving to 1.5, comments from patrons. Nobody signed up. So we'll move on to 2.1. The iRead results. Dr. Miller?
This is fun stuff here. Super excited to share the iRead results for this year and a little bit of historical as it comes up. That what we do, what these iRead scores are, even though it's a third grade outcome, this is a K2 and family and child endeavor. So this year we are had a 98.1% pass rate for our current third grade students. If you look at the 374 schools, we were 25th in the list. And if you just narrow that to the public schools, we were 17th. So we were extremely high on the list. If we look at our second grade for this year, out of our second grade, which their scores will be reported next year for the pass rate for the third grade, they had a 73% pass rate. But if you look at our on track, which is where a second grader should be, including the pass rate, we're at 85.5% pass rate, which is the pass and the on track combined. Some of the pictures you're seeing are just different celebrations and different things we've done along the way with the reading piece. If we look at the information from last year from third grade, this shows you the individual schools pass rate and also the second grade pass rate and the on-track pass rate combination for each of the elementaries. A little bit different perspective here. You can see the state average compared to each of our schools' pass rates. You might have seen that on social media previously. This one looks at area schools. Area schools and where we fall with that. You will notice that there is no one in that has a higher pass rate than us. This looks at districts about our size. Obviously, you can't read the individual schools, but when we look at all of those districts that are our size or larger, we only have one or two that have been higher than us this year. Here are high-performing schools in the area and where we fell with them, and we are at the top of that list as well. Here's our historical pass rate. You can see the dip. That was the post-COVID dip. But even then, we were well above the state average, and we were the lowest we have gotten was the mid to upper 80s%. So you can see the last 2 years we have been at the 98.1% pass rate for across the district. Here's our historical second grade information. I have the 23-24 through 25-26 data, and this is our pass rate for our second graders. Again, the on track would be a little higher than this. I do want to note the 2020 scores. We see elevation in the scores. What do we merit this to? Well, obviously our educators, our teachers, our administration, and our paraprofessionals are the foundation of everything we do. We do look at the science of reading and focus heavily on it. We work very hard to select a quality curriculum and maintain fidelity to that instruction. We provide a lot of individualized support through our special ed, our EL, and our intervention programming. And then obviously our students' hard work is at the top of that. That's what makes us successful in everything we do.
Now, MyView, we didn't have MyView last year, did we? Is it new this year?
No, that's coming. Yeah, that's what we're using this year.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
No, last year we had Super Kids and HMH into.
Okay.
But we're super excited about MyView. MyView not only has a very strong focus on science of reading, but it also has a very strong focus on writing instruction.
Okay.
And then who's our team? These are all of the people that make a difference, from the classroom teachers, the volunteers that go to our schools, all the way through to the school board. All of us together help guide those students to success. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question about the third graders this year. What did they test as second graders compared to our second graders this year?
So
Got that
your
number.
second graders last year, the 24-25, are the yellow one in the middle, and they had a 74% pass rate.
Okay,
So 74% of them passed in second grade, and then the rest of them that passed.
and what was it this year?
73.
73, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're
It's a
right there.
wash. Okay,
That could be one kid going one way or the other.
sure, okay.
We're pretty consistent in our scores, and we really have focused not only on that core curriculum through third grade, but we also focus on making sure we maintain and we catch all of the kids that maybe have a struggle here and there through our intervention programs.
And our ESL kids are also passing.
Our ESL kids are passing, yes.
Wow.
This is off the top of my head, I looked at it a few days ago. I think we had 15 of them pass out of like 17 or 18 total.
Great.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Good.
And we do, several of those kids, so like we're 90, where our pass rate is 98.1%, we typically only have one, maybe two or three kids that do not move on because they might get a waiver. For example, a student comes here who's an English language learner, and they don't come here till third grade. They're not expected to learn the language to be able to pass that reading test in here. So if they have been here less than 2 years, then we can move them forward. They still take the test, but we can move them forward.
Good.
Did we have any kids that we retained?
Yes, I want to say we retained 2, one of which I think was a combination of the parents felt like it would be best socially and emotionally for the child, needed a little more maturity to continue on.
And what grade was that, as a
That's
third grader?
grade is where we
Okay.
retained them, yes. And also, starting this year, if you were new to Indiana and had not passed, or new to Indiana and had not taken the test, and a 4th grader, you had to take the test. If you had been moved on in the 4th grade, you had to take the test, and all of our kids in those grades passed.
Passed, okay.
So kids now have to take it, even if I get a waiver in 3rd grade, they have to continue taking it through 6th grade now. But we passed them all.
So a 4th grader moves in from Michigan, has to take the 3rd grade test.
Correct. No, correct. And what we do with those kids was we pulled them together in January, February, explained what the test was, and gave them information on it, kind of walked through it and stuff, because some of that stuff, breaking a word apart and what's the medial sound is not something you do in 4th and 5th grade. That's no longer a habit that you work on.
Anybody else have a question? No? Thank you. And we'll move on to 2.2, access to high-quality teachers. Dr. Miller.
Thank you. Every year, the Department of Education analyzes our teaching staff and determines what percentage we have out of field or we have that are inexperienced. And they're looking at all of our schools in comparison to our Title I schools. Are our Title I schools seeing a higher incident in our district of inexperienced teachers? So we put all of our young teachers at a Title I school, and you don't have that wealth of experience in the building. You have more out of field teachers at a Title I school comparison. And I will say, once again, this year, we have no disparities within the district and have 100% pass rate on that.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move on then to the approval of accounts payable. I'm assuming everyone's had an opportunity to look at that.
3-1. You have to do 3-1.
Excuse me.
Minutes?
Oh, yeah, minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry. I'm assuming everybody had a chance to look at that also. Any comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Can we?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve those meetings.
Autumn Lake,
Yes.
Kevin Bittner,
Yes.
Mike Ganna,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. Now we'll move to, and has everyone had an opportunity to look through those?
Yes.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Have a motion to approve and a second on the accounts payable. Kenny?
Autumn Lake,
Yes.
Kevin Bittner,
Yes.
Mike Ganna,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. On our consent items, 4.1 through 4.5, we usually take those all at once. Any objection to that?
No.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve 4.1 through 4.5.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve all consent items together. Kenny?
Autumn Lake,
Yes.
Kevin Bittner,
Yes.
Mike Ganna,
Yes.
Bill Hutton,
Yes.
John Ward,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. Moving to 5.1 on the contract approval. Our new chief financial officer,
Like that sigh.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
with the old one sitting there.
Yeah, he's still here.
smiling.
He's still here. You have two contracts for your consideration. One is from Aspire, Indiana. That's for, they will provide behavioral health services to qualifying South Madison students. That will be of no cost or financial responsibility to the district. The second one is the Vector Agreement, which provides training and compliance coursework. However, I do want to add that the district really worked hard this year in-house to reduce the cost through the Vector Solutions by doing some work on those trainings within the district departments. And they actually saved the district $15,000 in that annual fee. So they're obviously still using Vector Solutions, but want to thank the team for the work that they did in providing that. So I recommend that the board approve both contracts as presented.
Any questions?
Mr. Thompson, if I could piggyback.
Yes.
On that first contract, just for the board's information. The reason that we have the MOU with Aspire on there for your consideration this evening is Centerstone, which is a group that we've partnered with for probably close to a decade now to offer similar services as what Aspire is. In the MOU with Aspire there, they are moving out of Madison County, and Aspire is looking to fill the void for that. So in order for us and our students to continue to work with Aspire in a similar way that we have been with Centerstone, then we would need this MOU. So that's why we're bringing that. Dr. Miller and I, counselors, have had a couple different conversations with Aspire and to a lesser extent Centerstone, but feel good about the possibility of that partnership and some of the services
So the same high-quality people the Centerstone had?
They are actually looking to transfer those that are interested, and we're moving from Centerstone to Aspire. Probably won't be 100%. Our families would have the choice to make that move as well if they so choose. Again, may not be 100%, but again, we want to be able to offer that. We had over 100 students across the district that were receiving services of some kind through Centerstone. So we certainly don't want to leave out to dry.
Great. Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the contract 5.1 as presented to us.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve 5.1, the contracts. Penny?
Paula White,
Yes.
Kevin Hitler,
Yes.
Mike Hannah,
Yes.
Bill Evans,
Yes.
John Moore,
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. And moving to 5.2, the recommendation for the Pendleton Elementary roof. Mr. Neely?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. CSO, the architects, recommends awarding the Pendleton Elementary roofing replacement project to Equity Builders Roofing, who was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, at a total contract price of $1,771,461. This has been reviewed by CSO, their bid submission, and confirmed that it's complete and that the contractor is prepared to proceed. So, just need board approval.
Any questions?
Will they still be able to do the October 31st deadline?
As far as I'm aware, that might have to move back just a little bit.
Scheduled to meet with them next week. CSO is working on the contract and then with Mrs. Hackman and representatives from Equity CSO.
Do you think they can get it before December, before snow? Fine. We hope.
We'll hope for the best.
There you go. All right, correct.
We're gonna hold Ken to that before he leaves.
Yeah, please do, yeah.
Are there any other questions? I'll entertain a motion if not.
I'll make a motion.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the bid recommendation. Penny?
Paula White,
Yes.
Kevin Hitler,
Yes.
Mike Hannah.
Yes.
Bill Evans,
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. Moving to 6.1, acceptance of non-residential resident students for the new year. Mr. Crewer?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. The administration is recommending the acceptance of 13 non-resident students to South Madison. In addition, we are continuing to receive applications, even though the school year has started, and are requesting permission to go ahead and accept those provisionally and allow the students to enroll, provided they meet all the criteria for enrollment, and we have space available, and those applications will be presented to the board for approval retroactive.
What would that bring our total up to?
648.
Throughout the whole
648.
district, K through 12, 648, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, 648.
Okay, which was more than last year, wasn't it?
Probably, yes. I mean, it definitely fluctuates throughout the
Yeah.
year. I know when I reported at the last meeting, we were at 642. Some of the 13 that are up for consideration this evening aren't going to be in that mix because they just haven't been able to enroll yet.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Kerr? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve 6.1, acceptance of non-resident students. Penny?
Paula White,
Yes.
Bill Evans,
Yes.
Kevin Hitler,
Yes.
Mike Hannah.
Yes.
Bill Evans,
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes.
Mark Thompson.
Yes. And surplus equipment. I looked on that, I saw those pictures, some fine stuff.
Yeah, looking stuff. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Thompson. The
Ping pong table?
administration requests permission to dispose of surplus equipment from East Elementary, and you see those pictures in there of that equipment, so just asking for your approval.
Any questions?
I have a question. I'm sure it's probably an obvious answer. Do they not sell any of this stuff? They just throw it away or destroy it, or?
That's a good question, and Mr. McCarty, I will use your historical background.
Surplus is, sometimes they'll trash it, sometimes they'll give it away, sometimes they'll sell it. There's no other
Okay.
That's all.
Sure.
Sometimes people like those, sometimes.
Sure, but I mean, like, what if it's something that, I don't know, if they don't need it at the middle school, but they might need it at the high school, you know, or something like that? Is there feedback, like school to school, to see if anyone needs any other equipment, or how does that work?
Yes, I mean, they would, before we go buy chairs or tables, you would check, cross-check everything. Those are things that you check, declare surplus, unless they're, the school,
Sure.
suitable for the cost, or we don't have the school.
Did you see something you wanted?
No, I don't want anything. I want my own dumpster to throw things in. But I just wondered, you know, if at one school, they don't need it, you know,
Yeah.
do they use it at
That's
another school?
reasonable.
or-
They have done,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
And I do know that there are districts that will hold on to this material until sometimes too long, and then they get full of storage areas, and then they have an auction.
Sure.
So
yeah.
that's an option too, but with us, it's not much space and not much. But I think it's something we can look at and make sure we're contacting all schools to say this school is looking to get rid of this. Does anybody want it before we take it to surplus?
Need a motion?
Motion to approve.
I will second that.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve 6.2 surplus equipment. Penny?
Arnold Blake,
Yes.
Buck Evans.
Yes.
Kevin Kinder,
Yes.
Mike Gannon.
Yes.
Bill Hutton.
Yes.
John Moore.
Yes.
Art Thompson.
Yes. 7.1, comments from patrons, nobody signed up. 7.2, communications from Dr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Just want to give you a quick update related to the weather. We didn't have any damage to any of our buildings. We did have a pretty substantial roof leak at Pendleton Elementary, which was not surprising considering that's why we just approved the bid to correct it. The high school had some leaks, but we're not sure that it was actually roofing leaks, that it was more related to the weep holes and the flashing and some of the other things that we've had, so we're trying to address that as well. But generally speaking, we're back up in normal. It seems like we've been in school for a month and we've really only had 4 days. It's been a really weird start. I do want to, I'll just make a quick comment because I know some of you want to recognize some of the things that happened last week with our kids and stuff, but it was really pretty cool to see the outpouring of our community and our staff members and our students and how they kind of jumped to action and really, I've had several people from the town call and talk to us about that and how essentially our students probably saved the library because of that wall they built and that kind of thing. So I was really proud to see that. Just wish we weren't in that kind of situation to start with, but it was a really pretty cool response. So that's all I have.
Okay. Move on to 7.3, communications from the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Blake?
I mean, I think, just echoing what Dr. Hall said about all the staff, I was at the library, so I didn't get to see a lot of the other places, but I know Coach Richmond and his football team, just Coach Richmond in general, was so instrumental in leading and just orchestrating all of that over at the town barn and getting all those football players over there. And I really don't know where we would have been at without him and his football team. And I mean, I know the volleyball team was there too, the women's volleyball team was there. And, I mean, I saw little elementary kids hauling those 50-pound sandbags over their shoulders. It was just incredible. So,
Cool.
yep.
Cool. Yeah, I was at Outfitters, and it was amazing because there were lots of staff members at Outfitters, because on Saturday and Sunday, we opened it up. We had a lot of adult clothing also, as well as kids' clothes. And so people were dropping off stuff, and they asked people to come and get clothes to wash them and bring them back. And so lots of our staff members were there, so it was great to see that also.
Mr. Evans?
A lot of positive things happened within our corporation, whether it's the IRE test or helping out with the flood. It just shows that our kids are becoming very responsible about taking care of other people.
I just think this is the most sketchy first week of school we've had. And I don't know, huh? You agree?
I agree.
It's just, I'm just glad we were able to get through it. I mean, I'm sure each of us has our own personal flood issues, but school-wise, I think we got through it pretty unscathed, so that's good. Didn't cost us any money.
Just to continue on with that, I'm just very proud of our staff and of our students. I mean, I have nothing but pride for that, so, but that's all I have.
I'd piggyback what Anna said about our coaches and our students, not just all athletes, but just kids throughout and adults in the community. And I might say, I mean, I grew up right across the street from the falls. I could see it from our upstairs window. And the highest I'd ever seen it prior to this week, it was barely touching the bottom of the walkway. And now it was 2 feet over. That was the highest I've ever seen it. It was amazing. The power of that water was just crazy. And I'd like to thank Dr. Miller for all the work that you do. Your numbers are so impressive. You're behind that, and we know that. Thank you.
I was not able to get out and help other people because we needed help. Our son's house was flooded a little over 2 feet. They lost just about everything, but we've had wonderful help. And I too want to say that I'm very proud of our school system, the help that they did, and I'm proud of what the teachers and administrators have been able to do with our scores. That puts us in a very good light. So thank you. Any other questions or comments? I will move to 8.1, adjournment of the regular meeting. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Penny?
Anna Blake?
Yes.
Buck Evans?
Yes.
Kevin Ginder?
Yes.
Mike Hanna?
Yes.
Bill Hutton?
Yes.
John Moore?
Yes.
Mark Thompson?
Yes. Okay, and now we move on to a budget work session. Our chief.
Thank you, Mr.
financial
Thompson.
officer.
I want to first just say a couple of words. It's very fortunate to come into this position and get to work with the outgoing business manager. We were able to tackle the budget together, and I haven't had very many years where I've had that opportunity. So, and it was actually, budget work is not usually a joy, but we had a lot of fun actually in doing this. So I really enjoyed working with Ken, and he's been a great resource. So he's gonna kind of tackle a lot of it. I've kind of put a presentation that'll just kind of visually go along with it. So I'm gonna turn things over to Ken.
Permission, I'll sit.
Please do.
You only have 3 minutes.
You want to turn? Ken, turn your mic on.
The mercy of the jury. I know most are typically used to receiving a big packet of information. And for those that are old or old school, I have this information available. But one of the benefits of hiring Kyle is he's a little more adept with technology, and the visual aids are much improved over my primitive ones. So, yes, we've got a lot of these are just different formats of what we typically go through every year. I know we'll try to hit this pretty quickly, but in May, we approved a budget calendar. Tonight is the public hearing. Next meeting, the 3rd, we will ask the board for permission to post the budget on DLGF as well as our SMCSC website, along with our capital projects and bus replacement. September 17th is our public hearing, and Kyle will ask for the board to adopt on October 6th, and then we upload information to DLGF.
And over the years, they have become really a lot quicker at getting things approved, and we will typically get our budget probably towards the end of November is when it is typically run. So DLGF approves three separate funds: the education fund, the operations fund, and the debt service. And those are some of the items that go in the education. We will put state law allows us to put computer equipment, nursing, principals, guidance counselors, teachers. Operations are transportation, primarily transportation, heating, lighting, natural gas, any repairs, and the administrative, school board expenses go through operating. And the debt service, obviously, is pretty self-explanatory. Any long-term debt that the school's taken is paid through that. So
I just want to add, when looking at this slide, I know the board is aware of this, but sometimes it's difficult for the community to understand how each one of these funds, well, a lot of people like to say bucket gets filled, but obviously education fund comes through the state tuition and the basic grant. And the property taxes really hit in the operations fund and the debt service fund. I know the board's fully aware of that, but I think sometimes the community gets a little lost in where does my property taxes actually go to the school corporation, and how do I fund the education fund? So it's always good to remember that.
and the next couple of slides, I think, give kind of a breakdown of.
Yeah, I can, if you want, I
Yeah,
can
go
run
ahead.
through
Yeah,
these real
go ahead.
quick. I threw this on here so you can see exactly how your education fund expenditures are visually. They show you percentage-wise, but also the big piece of the pie. 88% of the education fund goes to salaries and benefits of your educators. And those are the individuals who are on a daily basis making connections and impacting the kids in the classroom, along with your building principals and everyone that it takes to make that happen. 8% of it's in educational supplies, and the 4% for other could be in purchase services that we utilize to help. Can be in a couple of other areas, professional services, could also be in professional development, those types of things. I'll jump through the next one real quick, Ken. Operations fund expenditures, same kind of setup here. It kind of tells you the breakdown of how we use that fund. 53% goes into salaries, 28% goes into your operational supplies. So those are your two big chunks. And then 8% is in utilities, and then 8% again in other purchase services. So any type of contracted services that we might use, HVAC, or mechanical contractors that come in and work for us. And then 3% would be in your professional services. So, thank you, Ken. I'll just send it back over to you.
All right.
You don't have to, you can follow this if you want, or you can keep going your route.
Well, I guess we'll hit some of the ones that we typically have hit. We are fortunate that the assessed value has gone up, at least in the past. Obviously, with Senate Bill 1, we may have a change in that, or we'll have a change potentially. It will change, but we just can't quantify it yet. But if you take a look, our rate is relative to what other schools are, especially, I think Stiefel has kind of pointed this out, especially in the area of debt service. The rate and the levy have remained relatively consistent. It's fluctuated some, but we're fortunate that we've had a big jump in the assessed value at this point. So that's kind of a little bit of a history.
May I interrupt you?
Yes.
What happened with the 2024 being so much?
That's a
more?
typo.
That's a typo, because
Yeah.
it's the same number as 25.
I'll take the ownership of that. That was, I was hoping.
Did I miss it?
Yeah, that's supposed to be a 1.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's not Ken. That's, see, he said nice new visuals.
On
but-
my paper, it's 1.
So I'm guessing that either 24 or 25 is not
No.
the right number either. Since that's the same number except
Right,
for.
right.
Yeah,
Ken, what do you have for 24? I know you probably have it in front of you.
yeah, it is actually, we'd have, well, hang on, I can tell you.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's
I may have to have somebody's glasses here. 1349, 687, 117 for 24, and for yep, for 25. We'll have to get you that because I've copied that over as well. So I will take blame for that. So, yeah, we can, well, here, hang on. Let's see, for 25, it was 1,561,274,661. For 24, it was 1,340,687,117. And for 23, it was 1,249,218,715.
So the rest is right.
We got those right. We'll get that
Okay.
corrected tomorrow.
Okay.
It just seemed like it was so out of whack.
Well, it was.
It was a good year.
It's a good catch. I obviously didn't catch it.
Okay, so, Kyle, do you want to take this?
Yeah, I can take this one. So this is a 5-year look back on enrollment. You can see from 21, school year 21-22 to school year 25-26. Enrollment's increased a little bit, but the good news is it's staying steady, and that looks to hopefully continue. But you can look at last year's basic grant number was $33,481,206, and that was based off of the February average daily membership, or ADM, of 4,552 students. And then you can see what that breaks down to tuition per student. Now, I will say this is just the basic grant. There is a complexity piece that can get very complicated, and we didn't want to get too far into the weeds in that. And that'll add additional dollars per student based off of what our complexity.
Kyle, do you know our count right now? Number of students total?
What's that?
Our total number of students right now?
I want to say, and I don't want to misspeak, but I want to say we're close to about 4,555.
Yeah, for the budget, we put in 1454, which is a drop of one, for the 14,555 is what we actually had on our fall count last year, and we're budgeting in a drop of one student, 14,445.54, which, I mean, looking back, our peak year was the 15-16 year. So we've dropped 42 students from that. We're in 15-16, we had 4,596. And since 1995-96, we had 3,432. So we're up, 33% since that time, or 1,100 students. So when you factor 1,100 students times the ADM, then, it's quite a bit of money, so.
As of today, 4,542.
What is it again?
42.
4,542. But we still aren't, we've not the count day. That'll change after Labor Day, it always changes. So, count day will be the first week in October.
So the next slide breaks it down again in the 25-26 school year. Those are your per grade enrollment numbers. And you can kind of just visually see there are going to be some years where you're going to graduate a larger class and a couple of classes there in 7th and 8th grade when they come in, and you hope to bring in obviously a good number of kindergartners to offset that. But those are the types of things we really have to keep an eye on, is any of those valleys in that enrollment when those classes move out and we get the new ones in, just over the overall makeup of what that's going to look like.
And then, one challenge that we do have is this is our COVID year, so right now, our number of kindergartners, instead of, that was last year at 357, they're below 300, so that's a significant drop, and unfortunately, they'll follow us, for 13 years of state funding, so.
293 kindergartners currently.
And that's following a trend of a lower birth rate.
Through the whole nation.
Yeah, throughout the nation. It's just, it's happening all over. We talked about that one. This is giving you a budget comparison. I know Ken's got some more data that he'll probably throw in here towards the end, but just looking at the 2026 actual in the Education Operations and Debt Service Fund, you can see where those are, and then we've given you the 2027 projected budget that we've put together. Again, this still has to go to be advertised. This is the budget we will ask for permission to advertise. And then it goes to the DLGF, and they will do their handiwork in cutting it and trimming it, and then we will respond and ask, for what we want back, and then we'll get an official 1782 notice that will come, and we'll let you know what that is. So sometimes our 1782 used to come in November, but it's been later and later, it seems like, more and more. Hopefully they'll get back on it, but we're happy to answer any questions, Ken and I, about any of the difference that you see there, because I wanted you to see the highlighted differences in those funds.
Was the difference, the minus almost 700,000, was that Senate Bill 1?
Not in the education fund.
Yeah, we're purposely trying to kind of build up the balance a little bit in the operations fund, working with Stiefel, and I know Kyle's, we were on a conference call talking with them, trying to get some long-term targets for that fund. So we're building that one up a little bit. And the thing that is also challenging is next year will be a budget year for the state. So, the funding will change come July 1. The funding formula will change, so that could be good or bad, but, it will change for one way or another. And then also, obviously, the student count for 27 is going to affect our budget a little bit. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but Kyle and I have, looked at these numbers a lot and feel that the projected 27 budget that we're advertising is going to be adequate for our needs.
And the big thing with the budget to remember is that, those numbers in the projected are what are going to be our authority to spend. It doesn't always mean that that's what we're going to spend, but that gives us the authority to capture that, so we don't have to come back and ask for additional appropriations from the board. It could still happen, but it could also be the reverse if our budget, and we even discussed this a little bit as we look at each budget, do we want to reduce some in this year to capture some for next year? It's a bit of a game to figure that out. And by reduce, you mean ask the board to reduce appropriations going into the next budget cycle. We didn't feel that was necessary, and we felt like this would help us out to manage it. But again, that's our authority to spend. A lot of people look at that and say, well, that's how much money you're going to have. Well, not really. And the other piece of this that we're looking at, and we will continue to look at, is our cash balances in both funds. A comfortable cash balance is to be in the range of 18 to 20% in both funds. And I'll be honest and transparent, we're not there in operations, but we're going to do some work to try to get it back to there. And that's been a hit, not because that we've been overexpending in places we don't need to. It's just been a hit in the legislation and the way that we've been cut in circuit breaker. Our circuit breaker is up again. I think it's almost a little under 1.5 this year that will get hit in circuit breaker caps. So.
And one other thing that, the board has approved our debt financing. So we also have been working with Stiefel this week about looking back 5 years on some capital projects that have actually hit the operations fund, and state law allows us to reimburse the operations fund for those purchases. So we actually, today, we've sent them a list, proposed list, and they're going through it, and some they have some additional questions on, but, that will be 1.3 to I think they're going to ask for a maximum of 1.8, but I would anticipate it being probably between 1.3 and 1.5 million that we will, when we close on the bonds, we'll be able to put that into the operations fund, because we have, especially in the HVAC area, spent quite a bit of money in those, out of the operations fund in those areas, so.
These are gonna be hard to see, so what I have done here, just to let you know, this is gonna be a lot of the information that Ken has in the actual packet that you'll get, which,
You're used to seeing this on paper, so.
Yeah.
This actually is, if you look at the top line, that is what we have been approved, authorized to spend in calendar year 2026. The second column is the revenue by fund. The third kind of template down there is actually what our expenditures out of those funds are. So Kyle had mentioned, potentially looking at reduction of appropriation. And what that allows us basically to do is, if we get closer to the end of the year and say, we have been approved to spend 36 million out of education fund, but, I think we're only going to be spending 34, we can ask the board for a reduction of appropriation of $2 million that we basically allow us to spend that in 2027. So, that is, these are the actual fund balances in there, cash at the end of June. Is,
do you want me to go back?
and we'll give these, if anyone wants these, and probably give the slide deck
Yep.
to them. So here again, this is more of a detailed of the revenue. The basic grant obviously is the bulk of it, and there's some driver's ed fees and some relatively minor relative to the basic grant. So that's in the operations, or education. This is the operations, primarily property tax, and then the transfer, the $2,750,000. The board has approved a transfer of $5,500,000 for calendar year 26. Half of that has been made through the first half of the year, and we certainly anticipate that remaining balance being transferred the second half of the year. So the transfer of funds, that's a big number, and it actually comes from the education fund. So, and then the debt service is pretty self-explanatory. We have two sources. We get property tax in July and December, or June and December, June and December, for the May and November installments that the taxpayers pay. We do get some license excise tax this year going forward. All those commercial vehicle excise, license excise, and fit will go to the operations fund. That's a result of a change in Senate Bill 1. So the good news is for the state has what they call an assessed value growth quotient for operations fund, and our levy, we can increase that by almost 10%. So that's the good news. The bad news is our circuit breaker, as a result of Senate Bill 1, will take that and then some. So, certainly I would anticipate Senate Bill 1, it was kind of, had some loose ends that I would anticipate will get changed for the better, for the worse in the upcoming General Assembly. So we're going on the best we know today. So
That's all I had on the slides. Is anything you need to add, Ken?
just, like I say, just one thing, and I think last year about our self-insurance, that we had been really hit hard. And I will share some good news that through our funding requests yesterday, we are down 1.5 million over 2025. So, the best news is our employees are healthier, and certainly it has a financial impact last year. Last year, through August, we've spent a little over 3.4 million in funding claims. So, we're almost pretty much through August, but, last year, for instance, through August 19th, our funding claims were about 151,000 a week. So they're down to 104,000, which is still pretty significant. So, I mean, obviously, we have been really working this to try to see what we can do as far as, we're leaving no option unturned. We've looked at some things this week. Dr. Hall, Kyle, and I met with Unified to see, what some options are, and we've got a pool of options, and so this is something that we are looking at, and obviously outside of the direct salaries, this is one that is, it's been a challenge. It's absolutely been a challenge, but.
Anybody have any questions?
I think we bored them to death, Ken.
Well,
Thank you for all the work you do on
Thanks.
this. I know
Very
it's
much so.
stressful and hard, and
You understand
it
this?
frustrates. Thank you for.
well, thanks, appreciate it.
Above my intelligence.
Okay. We're ready to adjourn this budget session?
Yep.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we adjourn the budget work session.
Moved and seconded to adjourn 10.1, the budget work session. Penny?
Yes.
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 Yes. Good presentation.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.